Then I will just moderate myself. I'm going to talk about OGC standards in Inspire on an example, which is, there we go. Myself is a geospatial architect providing consultancy through Metaspatial. I'm president of OSGeo, that's the Open Source Geospatial Foundation. I'm on the architecture board of the OGC, which is why I invited me here to moderate this workshop. I'm an OpenStreetMap advocate, which is a little different to what Inspire usually does. I'm contracted for Ordnance Survey and founder of companies and so on. So I'm going to talk about OGC WFS technology for Inspire download services, and I use the logos OGC plus degree equals Inspire in the context of WFS. How do we describe the download service? It's based on OGC WFS 2.0, compliance pending. This was something you were suggesting we might have to talk about in a dialogue. It's still a bit open there. There's complex data schema as per Inspire appendices, and it's ongoing development and will still go on for quite some time. The data conforms to OGC GML 3.2. There are predefined datasets, interactive queries, and you can couple this stuff with metadata. So, Inspire caveats and requirements. As I already said, the data schema development is ongoing, so it's a bit hard for service providers to provide software for something that's not there yet. So there is a little disconnect between the data specification and the software we have now. The specific language options have to be tested in the real world. Is this really making sense, how we are trying to do this in Inspire? The source data models are historically different. What I mean to say with this is that people come with their own systems and they end up with some flat shapefiles or whatever, and then you're supposed to create a complex GML data structure out of this. So there's a lot of manual work involved in this. And this requires complex mapping during ETL, and I think Snowflake is a great example in lots of knowledge about how to do this. The network services require high scalability. This is still in the pipeline, but we will see some requirements where they say this has to be fast and responsive, the system we have. And the new metadata data coupling requirements will also have to be addressed. So if we go to the technology side, Degree implements Inspire download service specifications as direct access and implements the OGC standard WFS 2.0. And I added the 1.1 because there is a compliance test for 1.1. But this is OGC, this is more technical. So there's no compliance for the data in the service with the performance testing. So this will be quite a different thing to simple software classes where you just check whether the software does what it's supposed to do. Degree also provides for the Inspire view service option, so once you have all this data in the store, it's a little more easier to put it out again as a WMS or a view service Inspire. The integrated data metadata coupling is already provisioned, so as the data store is using GML 3.2 and it comes in as GML 3.2, there's already the option to link this to the corresponding metadata. And obviously it has advanced query capabilities. Now this is open source, and I have to correct you there, I always do this. It's also commercial software. The difference is not open source and commercial, but open source and proprietary software. So you can do business with also open source, that's a given. There are open source licenses. Degree is a quality assured OSGeo project. That means that many people from different other software projects have looked over this software and have said this software is open source and it is actually good software. There's a strong developer community, flexible storage options, and powerful relational mapping language. And they have implemented in the version Degree 3, which is the one we were talking about here, a streaming architecture for high performance and scalability. So an architecture would look like this, with the Inspire download service, the Inspire datasets, and connectors to PostGIS and Oracle, which are probably the most used currently in this area. and the Inspire feature store, which is directly connected, and the loader, and then the service on top of this. Ideally, this is the ideal world, we would have a direct mapping scenario. So the NMCA has national data, they stick down software on top of it, which is the Inspire download service, and you get valid Inspire GML on the other side. But this would suggest that we do not have any history in this data, and that everything is already there as GML complex models. So what is more real is this version here. It's the offline transformation scenario where you have national data, extract, transform, and load, so you get valid Inspire GML. Once you have that, it's very simple to add this as Inspire data into a degree Inspire download service. So you can actually take the GML and use it as the data store for the degree services to create the Inspire service on the other end. And the extract, transform, load, as you were saying, there is software, for example, from Snowflake, but there is also other software, and you need brains to do this. That was the domain knowledge you were talking about. Without this domain knowledge, we're not going to be able to do all of this. So how do you do this in open source? You look for Inspire solution providers. I have 3 examples here. This is Occam Labs, Metaspatial, and DB100. And then you pick what you need from each of them. So one of them could provide the core technology here, Occam Labs, who also do the Inspire site management for OGC. They provide workshops and data mapping. That's the hardcore work you have to do there. There's folks like me who do consulting, architecture design, or agile coordination with Scrum. And there is others like David Overton, who does project management and uses cloud technology to actually operate GeoServer, Degree, or any other software in the cloud. When you mix these 3 together, you can get sizable solutions. For example, Inspire do-it-yourself. If you don't have money, you go for that one. Make a workshop, do an analysis, set up a test service, and then you do the same thing for your own data themes over and over again. If you have money and you don't have time to do it yourself, you can get a carefree package where you have a workshop, analysis, ETL, Inspire compliance test, and this is the one where we hope that we'll get support from OGC and JRC to actually have something independent that gives you an Inspire compliance test. And optional, obviously, view services and cloud technology. So I call this adaptive transformation because there are many different ways of doing things depending on where you come from. So varying scalability requirements can be addressed with cloud technology on the one end, and on the other side, professional service providers can help you to find and develop optimized solutions. Thank you for your attention. This was a very short peek into this open source set.